everyone. Today we will be learning chapter 9, Microbes. In this chapter we will be learning about the different types of bacteria, fungus, virus, useful microbes and harmful microbes. Before we begin with the chapter, here's a warm-up for you. One day, Kai bought some milk and forgot to put it in the fridge. The next day, when he heated the milk, it curdled. Do you know why the milk curdled? Why do we always store some types of foods in the fridge? What are the smallest animals that you can see? Mites, bedbugs, etc. If you think these tiny insects are the smallest living things, then you are wrong. The organisms that we can see under the microscope are called microorganisms or simply microbes. Microbes are the largest number of living organisms on our planet. They are also present in every part of the earth and every living thing. They are also present in our bodies. They are the oldest surviving organisms. Life on earth started with microbes. These microbes are of many different types of shapes, sizes and varieties. There are many types of microbes. The main types are bacteria, virus and fungus. Some microbes make their own food like plants do. These microbes are called autotrophic. Some microbes depend on other living organisms for food. These microbes are called as heterotrophic. Microbes may be solitary or colonial. An amoeba spends its whole life alone and hence it is called a solitary microbe. Fungi work together in colonies and help each other and thus they are called as colonial microbes. Microbes can reproduce sexually or asexually. When two microbes come together to reproduce, it is called as sexual reproduction. But sometimes when a microbe splits itself into two new pieces, it is called as asexual reproduction. Where do microorganisms live? No climate is too hot or too cold. No place is too wet or too dry for a microorganism. They can make home in the cold Arctic region as well as in a hot geyser. They can live in a rock or the deepest part of the ocean. They can live in the open as well as in our bodies. How do microbes eat? Microbes get energy in different ways. Some can photosynthesize food. Some get energy by breaking down natural chemicals in their environment. Others feed on dead things like fallen leaves and dead animals. They make them break down or decay. Here's a tidbit for you. Microbes are vital to life on our planet. Photosynthetic bacteria such as algae and cyanobacteria produce more oxygen than plants during photosynthesis. In fact, microbes produce half of the amount of oxygen that we breathe. Now let us think. The mushrooms that we eat belong to a fungus family. So are mushrooms microbes? No, microbes are not visible to us. They can only be seen through a microscope. Mushrooms and toadstools are made up of a lot of cells, so they are not microbes. Moreover, mushroom is to fungi what a fruit is to a tree. Mushrooms are the fruit in the body of the fungi. So all mushrooms are fungi, but not all fungi are mushrooms. As we can see mushrooms, we do not group them as microbes. Types of microbes. Fungus. Fungi, the plural of fungus, are usually the biggest type of microbes. If there is just one of them, we call it as a fungus. And if there are more than one, then it is called fungi. The most common microbial fungi are yeast. Fungi live and work together in colonies. Bacteria. They are the simplest organisms on earth. Bacteria are smaller than fungi. If there is just one of them, we call it a bacterium. Bacteria have many different shapes. We can see bacteria everywhere in the food we eat, in the plants and even inside our body. Virus. Viruses are the smallest type of microbes. A virus can reproduce only inside a cell. All viruses are parasites. A virus needs the body of another organism to live. Protozoan. They are so named because many species behave like tiny animals. They hunt other microbes as food. Some protozoa absorb food through their cell tissues. Helpful microbes. Many kinds of bacteria live in our mouth and our stomach. They are essential to digest food. Many different kinds of microbes are decomposers. They decompose things. When microbes break down dead animals and plants, they release minerals back into the soil. Plants use these minerals later. Plants use minerals from the soil to make food. Microorganisms are useful in food making, making curd, brewing, wine making, baking and pickling. When we leave the dosa or idli batter overnight, the microbes ferment the batter to make the batter fluffier and lighter. They are used for making medicines. When you have flu or a viral fever, the doctor gives you medicines called antibiotics. Antibiotics are made with bacteria. Vaccines are dead or weakened microbes. Doctors introduce them into our body to produce antibodies. These antibodies protect our body from disease-causing microbes. You have all taken vaccines to prevent diseases like polio, cholera, typhoid, smallpox, hepatitis, etc. Did you know how curd is made? The bacterium called lactobacillus is used to ferment milk to form curd. Harmful microbes. Some bacteria and fungi may cause food to decay. If you leave food without properly storing it, you may see it rotting. Moldy bread and sour milk are all examples of foods that have gone bad. There are some microorganisms that grow in our food and release toxic substances. If we eat them, it may cause illness or even death. Some microorganisms cause diseases in plants and animals. These are called as pathogens. These diseases are infectious diseases. Plague, anthrax, malaria and tuberculosis are caused by pathogens. Pathogens enter our body through air, food, water, contact or insects. Some spread from person to person, and in some cases, insects and animals carry the disease-causing microbe. For example, houseflies carry the typhoid-causing microbe, and mosquitoes carry the microbe that causes dengue fever. You must keep some microbes out of your house because they spoil clothes, leather, wood, etc. Let's explore. Find out the various ways we use microbes in food preparation. Make a list and discuss in class. Here's a science top-up for you. The human body is referred to as the microbiome of microbes. There are more organisms living in our gut than there are cells in our body. They are invisible, but our body has trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi and other microorganisms that live on different organs such as intestine, mouth, and skin. Here's the glossary of this chapter. Parasite, an organism that depends on another organism for food, etc. Gut, the stomach and the intestine together is called the gut. Fermentation, the breakdown of substances by microorganisms such as yeast, bacteria, etc. Here's the mind map. Bacteria, fungi and virus are microorganisms. Bacteria are the simplest. We can see them everywhere. Fungi are the biggest microorganisms and they live in colonies. The smallest microorganisms are viruses. They are called parasites.